My boyfriend kicked me out of his car at 1 in the morning and left me there. Should I break up with him? Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It was sent to me on Instagram. My boyfriend and I went to a party and got into a huge fight. Here's a little backstory on our situation. This boy chased me for months. And let me just say, he was never my type. I did not find him attractive. I didn't even think he was funny. Friends introduced us, and after he met me, he was completely obsessed. I knew and everybody knew that I was way out of his league, but he just started doing really sweet things. For example, he'd show up to my job with the Starbucks. First, I thought it was creepy that he would show up to my job. Then I found out he worked 2 blocks away from me, so it was actually pretty sweet. He would invite all of us friends to his place, and then he'd have a special dinner for me because I have celiacs, so I can only eat gluten-free, and he would only make me gluten-free food. After him trying to ask me out for 3 months, I finally caved in and said yes. This is where it gets me angry. Like, this is a boy that I had zero interest in. Yet I fell in love and became obsessed, and now I'm the one suffering? How is this fair? 6 months into the relationship, everything was pretty much okay, till he started getting jealous of everybody, even our existing friends. We went to this party and my best friend introduced me to her new boyfriend, and I actually know her boyfriend from years ago, so he and I were talking, but my boyfriend got angry. He grabbed me by the arm and dragged me out of the party. We got in the car and we argued for an hour. We were an hour from my home. He kicked me out of the car and left me there at 1 in the morning. Go to part 2. My boyfriend kicked me out of his car and left me there. Did I break up with him? Disclaimer, this is not my story time. It's sent me on Instagram. As we were fighting in the car, I asked him why he was so jealous, and he said that he couldn't stand people even looking at me. I told him that reaction was unreasonable and not normal. And when I said the word normal, he got so angry he stopped the car, opened my door, and pulled me out. He pulled me out so quickly I fell onto the floor, and he just drove away. Mind you, I'm 1 hour away from my house. It is literally 1 in the morning. And my battery was on 2%. Quickly grabbed my phone and called my best friend who's still at the party. She answers and I said to her, he kicked me out of the car, come pick me up, I'm sending you my location, and I hung up. I sent her my location. 30 seconds later, my phone dies. At this point, I have no idea if anybody's coming for me. This man drove by and stopped and asked me if I needed a ride. But honestly, he terrified me. He had a beer bottle in his lap. And he laughed when he saw me. He said, are you lost? I told him I was waiting for friends, and then he laughed even harder. He said, I'll just wait here with you. But I told him if he didn't mind to please leave me alone. That's when he called me a and drove away. Also, I'm standing in the middle of a road with barely any lights, so it's like super dark. Every little noise I heard was scaring the life out of me. Picture me. I'm there clutching my purse and my phone, making 360 turns just to make sure nobody's coming up behind me. And finally, my best friend shows up. She is angry. She said to me, you're breaking up with him. I don't care what he says. She drove me home, and the next morning my boyfriend shows up. And guess what? He's acting like nothing happened. When I open the door and he walks in, I say, do you remember what you did? And all he said was, yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it? This man kicked me out of his car at 1 in the morning, knowing my battery was on 2%, putting my life in danger. And he wants to talk about it? That's when he apologized and said that he was completely out of line. And I said, you think? And then of course I started to cry, and I told him everything that happened after he kicked me out of the car. And he started crying. And he said, I'm so sorry, I didn't even think about that. I also made him call my best friend to apologize to her as well, which he did, and my best friend did not accept the apology and she hung up on him. Then I told him he didn't even call me later on that night to see if I got home okay. Really, was he that angry that he just did not care about what happened to me? But here's the problem. I'm still so in love and obsessed. But my best friend and I agreed that I would not get back with him. Told him I couldn't accept him back into my life because clearly he doesn't care enough and he doesn't have my back. Then he started to cry some more and left. He's been showing up to my house every day with flowers and everything that I like. But I'm confused, angry, and I just really don't know what to do. Am I overreacting, or am I not reacting enough? Should I just cut contact with him? Please help me out.
Get ready with me while I tell you a crazy story time about how I had a friend lie to me that her mom died. Crazy, right? This story happened around 2019, and me and my husband at the time would hang out with a couple of other couples. It was probably 4 of us in total. One of the couples introduced us to this new couple. For their privacy, let's just call them Maria and Mario. Maria and Mario, we met them and they were pretty cool. Maria, she had a very crazy life story, which obviously I believed it. To this day, I don't know if she lied about that or not, but after I tell you this whole story, you might think that's a whole lie. So 2 of the things that she had said: 1, she was found in a dumpster and adopted by her parents. 2, she said that her dad was in the army, and I believe he was like a really higher up, so when he passed away they left her a ton of money. So that's another thing that she said. Okay, back to the story. All of us as couples would hang out every single weekend, almost every single weekend. On this particular day, the men were outside and the women were inside. This is where it gets interesting. Mind you, Maria was pregnant at the time. I forgot to mention that. We were all hanging out inside, and Maria just decided to open up to us and let us know that, you know, her mom passed away. She went into full detail. When I tell you full detail, I mean full detail of how, why. She even went into full detail as far as her funeral services. I'm going to say some of the things she said. Her mom's funeral was taken place in Mexico. She had to watch it on Facebook Live. Her favorite flowers were there, pretty much saying that she paid for everything. It was hard to hear her say all these things. Felt so bad for her because, you know, no one ever deserves to lose their mom. I literally cried when she was telling me like about her mom's passing. After we were there for her, the day pretty much passed by. We went back to normal and she went home. Soon after they left, my friend comes out of the restroom and she says, have her on Facebook and I saw something and I just had to go check it and I'm kind of freaking out. And I was like, what happened? You know, like what could be going on that you're like freaking out about? This girl that I'm telling you about, she's the one that introduced us to this couple. So she pretty much had a better connection with them. She knew them a little bit more and she had them on social media. I was at the restroom pretty much saying, I have seen her mom on Facebook. We were shook. How have you seen her mom if her mom passed away? I don't know if she had forgotten that she had added her as a friend on Facebook. We come to find out that her mom was in fact not dead. This is where it gets crazy. To this day, I don't understand why she did that. I'm not going to lie though, after we found out that her mom was in fact alive, I was having a hard time trusting this person and I was having a hard time feeling any sympathy for her. I feel disgusted, to be honest. We pretty much keep this all to ourselves. We're gonna ask Mario. Let's just see what happens. So guys, the next week comes and we, you know, pretty much act normal, keeping normal conversations at this point. This is also where things get a little more complicated. But throughout the week, she texted one of the girls and she told her that she had a big discussion with her man. He had to go to a hotel room, pretty much getting into it, and that she ended up slapping him. And we were like, well, I'm sorry that happened to you. We're not assuming it was a lie. We're just like, okay, we're there for you. Like, I'm sorry that happened. They come on Saturday. This time the guys were outside and the girls were inside, and one of the girls were like, okay, let's just go talk to him. So we go outside, obviously not making it suspicious that we're gonna ask anything, or at this point she had no clue we knew the truth. So we see Mario and we ask him, is it true that Maria's mom passed away? If I could show you the look on this man's face, he was baffled. Like, he was, what? He didn't even know his own mother-in-law passed away. After he confirmed that that in fact was a lie, I asked him if what happened throughout the week was true. That absolutely did not happen at all. Maria, I think she felt something was up because she decided to go outside. She obviously saw me and the other girl talking to Mario. Do you want to know what she did? You guys aren't ready for this. You guys are not ready for this. Remember how I told you guys that she was pregnant? You guys, she faked that her water broke right there. So I didn't have kids. I didn't know if her water did break or it didn't break. But mind you, two of the other girls are already moms. One with 2 kids and the other one with 1. Inside, and we were like, hey, what happened? Like, you were the only one here, to the other girl that was with her. She pretty much said, Maria went outside and she saw that you guys were talking to her man. Went to the restroom, that she felt a gush and that her water broke. Didn't see any water anywhere. So the next day, Much told her like, hey, we should talk. You guys, at this point, I had no interest in being her friend anymore. These are wise words from Val, okay? If somebody does not serve purpose in your life, you don't need them. How crazy was this story? I want to know. From a scale of 1 to 10, rate it. How crazy was this story? I completely forgot that this happened to me, guys, until I was like, I want to do a Get Ready With Me, and I want to tell a story. Like, I want to say something that happened in my life. Do I have anything interesting that happened? And then, boom, this story. I was like, holy, this is going to be a good story right here. Tea. This is real tea.